I think, thank you very much. This is a unique event in the School of Architecture, where we have more than, in fact, I was counting more than 4 schools of architecture who are participating. I did not mention, we have even a participant from the University of Milan. If you were in the workshop last week, you have seen her work. So we have Nairobi, Milan, Madrid, I wish we had more of such occasions. So I think for now, if the floor is open for you to raise issues, whether it's about, I know we have not gone in as much depth as we would have wanted. I'm sorry for the students. I know you wanted proper feedback, especially the Dutch students. I know they've been working the last 2 weeks so much. Unfortunately, we didn't have much time to give them the right comments. But we have the technology, and we hope that through linkages, we're able to share most of this. And then that week we had a workshop which was dealing with Together last week, and most of the students there participated. I'm sure they got more input from there. So I'm sorry for the urban university students, because it's a final year. The others I think has been in so I know this cannot be exhaustive, but you can. I welcome any points, questions which we want just to share. The answers will not be now. They continue after this session, so to speak. I think that's the brief I was given by Morel. Make sure the avenue for interaction and intercourse promoted. So please, let's start this event from now. 2 questions from you. Comments, questions? Yes, please. Stand and since we don't know each other, you have to give us.
Yes, my name is Samir. And I want to respond basically to the project which was based on Morana. There are some things which I would like to clarify. I'm yet in a position to ask a question on the same by my opinions, the question clarification to convey. I want to know, like, is in what informed the design philosophy that they decided to use to base up places. They're saying that they want to move the current apparent positioning of the city center down there. What exactly is it coming down? I feel like it is possible to do that. I think
it's a point of confusion, but I think clarification is what is now demanded from the team, led by Obara, the team leader. Please clarify so that we know if we are moving the CBT from here to Murang'a Road or not.
As a point of clarification, apparently we are not moving the CBT to Murang'a. What we are doing is a transit-oriented development where everybody don't need to fit with. You know what happens in the current model, where everybody is trying to enter into the city and get out of the city at the same time. So as a, it's like an urban home. It's a whole. It's not just an architectural solution to one particular point. So whatever we are responding to at that particular point has effect on the city. So what we are talking about, if you are getting people into that place and the density of development is going to increase, you don't need to get those people again to town. So they perform their activities there and do their duties there, and you can get out of that place through alternative, not necessarily come into the city. Again, I think we are doing urban analysis. We are saying the process of development of the project is young. We actually started the project. So, in the point of architectural interventions and design philosophies, I think there's another aspect in which
at the same time, what we're talking about is that, like, look at Nairobi right now. We have, like, good capital in Upper Hill. That's probably either your financial or administrative capital, or some, maybe Harambee Avenue. So we may not necessarily explicitly be saying that we're taking the capital there, but possibly the commercial capitals will go that way. Administrative could be in Upper Hill. It could have probably whether it's trade or whatnot. So possibly one of the arms. And so if you have certain utilities which you can take, if you want to pay your electricity bill, you can do it there. nobody can come to town. If you want to do certain things, you can take care of that. So we're pushing some of the activities that way to reduce congestion.
Yeah, and maybe some other things that are possibly are supposed to be put into consideration is, I don't believe from the practice of architecture it is good for an architect, a person who's mostly concerned with creativity, to say that you want the government to influence, possibly come up with certain regulations that are going to, like as in, create a controlling element in the way you design. Because I believe that doesn't give enough space to like creativity. You say that you probably would want to adapt whereby we have just a fenestration which has a particular uniqueness.
It's not specific. It's not specific.
That's another point of confusion.
It's a guideline. What I say is, if you look at certain models that are in place in different cities, yeah, it's not that we're saying exclusively do A, B, C, D. Not emphasize, but there's a particular level of control. You know what I mean? In terms of you're given this is the whatever. In fact, in my own experience, design is a lot more enjoyable, a lot more challenging because constraints are real. You know what I mean? If you get a site, the size of the site is real. If your client gives you a site, if he has a quarter acre, that's what it is. That's controlling as much as at the end of the time. Designers or creative people want to say, we don't want to be controlled, we don't want to be put in a box. There are certain controls that you have to live with. And if you walk downtown Nairobi, there are some places you will see a building that will make you say, I wish the government intervened here. So we're not saying that you're being controlled. No one is trying your hands. But I'm sure you've experienced this in design. So people can bear witness. That when you're given a certain set, because constraints will always be there. And it gives you a lot more, challenges you, it takes your creativity to a certain level, to a higher level.
Yeah, this discussion can proceed. Thank you very much.
Okay, first of all, I have a comment on you guys' presentation. It seems like you guys give us a lot of analysis and why you intend to undertake the project. But what I would have liked to see from you guys is how you solve the problem. Because you told us we're doing this because of this and because of all.
As you all realize, none of the projects presented here are regular. And I think you of all the people you're working with, you can see at least one of them raised by issues. In fact, the reason for this kind of interview is to encourage vertical studios, as opposed to horizontal studios, so that younger students and older students can learn from each other. So this is supposed to be the beginning of this vertical interface between the students and lecturers and things like that. So it's possible. And from the variety of projects you've seen today, like he was telling me, her presentation, the math presentations are what actually that we doing in first and second year, those modeling, those patterns, and all that. So it's a lesson which can be used by other years and vice versa. So the point for learn is that these challenges, as you say, are real. Architecture does not operate in isolation. There are bylaws and all that. You read about people like Moshe Safi and all that. They tell you how much they had to take a design to fit into the legislative regime. The class, the fifth year class, are interrogating that the legislation that governs development in that area with a view of an urban form that they want to develop there. At the same time, improving performance, things like transport, green spaces, and things like that. Yeah, that is the spirit which I think the class wants to promote. Unfortunately, they are not able to present their proposals at this stage. I think. Sorry, I'm defending them. They're my class. I'm sorry about that. Some other comments.
I have a question for the Kenyans. This is that we are working next design. We are working in Kibera also, and it was really a pleasure to see the work for the Holland students, because we have learned a lot of things and it will help us a lot in our work. But I live here since 5 years ago, and I've been a lot of times around a lot of slums. And I have a question for the Kenyans. That is that, you know, Wasungu, no, Wasungu, I know that comes from the Swahili verb kuchunguza. And this means for the Wasungu that don't know, because we think Wasungu means white, but Wasungu in Kusunguza means go to one place to another like crazy, no? Not stopping, just one place to another running, no? So my feeling is that when we go to Kibera or to Uruguatenga or to Matare or whatever land you visit, you don't give enough time to understand what is really happening there. What is the relation between the architecture and the way of living? And we just look from an outside point of view and just with our minds. That is totally different. So we are proposals, and I'm afraid about this situation because we are working in Kibera. And I'm afraid, and I wanted to, I don't know, I think we have to study much more the things. Because in 10 days, going like gurus, it's very difficult to really understand what is happening there. No? So, what do you think about it? What do you think about Wasungu? This is a question for you. Coming and making a lot of proposals, but I think your feeling should be, they are crazy people. They do and they propose a lot of things that maybe don't have a lot to do with the real life of these places. I don't know. You all want to feel that you are very nice looking. How to come to Madrid and teach us how to talk.
I think this is a very proper observation. First and foremost, a community like Kibera, for somebody to actually be able to come up with an intervention, you have to be there with the people. Because you realize it's not about the urban environment. First is the people. You create some good houses for those people on the side. You know what happens? And then the government moves there. This guy will go and rent somebody those flats and comes to live in this flat. So you actually haven't given a solution. So I think that's correct. We really need to go into those people. And again, considering our lifestyle, whereby there's what we call a social ladder, where you move from this to the next one. And then once, like, let's say an architect or somebody reaches some particular point, you want to go and live at a particular point. Even if you are living together, definitely you're going to get up. So I think it's a question of involvement.
Involvement. In fact, there's one case, I hope you'll agree to say something, because she's been involved with another community, woman. And she wants to say 5 sentences, her experience. She's still developing a design project, similar to the Dutch experience, but she has more involvement. So she'll probably say a few things. She presented her work this week in a workshop, which Prof, I think, may have seen, Professor Stanford. She'll mention a few words. And as I was saying, we are finding, she's from the University of Milan. Ellen.
Yes, can I show you summary?